Madden 21 is on the horizon, the ratings are coming out, some of the features are released. It's getting some people riled up, so let's just dive into it. I've spent so many weeks of my free time playing Madden, so much time spent in franchise mode, doing fantasy drafts, playing with players I'd never played before, playing with different teams I'd never played with before, and some of the things I get most excited about are finding out what the ratings are going to be for some of my favorite players on my favorite team, and as well as some of the other best players around the game that I have a chance to play with, right? Well, every year there's a little bit of contention, a little bit of, some friction between the fans and EA on what is actually, correct as far as the ratings or some of the features. And this year there are a few of the ratings for some of my favorite players or NFL fans' favorite players that feel a little bit wrong to me. I got a few of those talking about rookie statistics as well as some overall features about this upcoming Madden that I feel I just need to talk about a little bit. So first up on the list, I think there is one player who's absolutely way too high on his overall, and it's J.J. Watt of the Houston Texans. 98 overall so far on Madden's upcoming Madden 21 release is way too high in my opinion. Now, is J.J. Watt a nice guy? Is he a great humanitarian? Is he an overall pretty good football player? Multiple time defensive player of the year? Absolutely, 100%. These are all true statements. But if you only play in 8 games in 2019, if you only played in half the season, and you have only 4 sacks and 4 tackles for loss to show for it, I'm not quite certain you should have a 98 overall rating in the upcoming Madden. And while J.J. Watt, when he is on the field, is a really strong defensive player, is really, important to the Texans' defensive success, I don't know if only 8 games of sample is enough to say, hey, this guy deserves a 98 overall in the upcoming Madden. It's a little bit contentious for me. I like J.J. Watt. I think he's, again, a great guy. I think he's a really good football player, future Hall of Famer, but well, the sample size we got last season does not show to me that he is deserving of a 98 overall. I feel like you could very well slip past and get him a, a 90 overall. Kind of get him up there a little bit, but nothing too high. I don't consider J.J. Watt to be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, as far as Madden is concerned right now. I do think he is really good. I just don't know if 98 overall is quite the score I would give him. Let's touch base on another pass rusher. Chandler Jones is another guy I feel is way too underrated. And you might say, Tristan, a 95 overall, how is it underrated? Well, when you're the number 2 sack leader in the NFL and you've been one of the best pass rushers year in and year out since like 2012, you deserve to be a little bit higher than a 95 overall. And I understand Arizona's got a little less exposure, little less TV time. I think it's gonna help this year, possibly with this Madden rating, getting a little bit more televised games with the addition of, DeAndre Hopkins, and the Cardinals getting a little bit more exciting with the addition of Isaiah Simmons as well. I think Chandler Jones at 95 is a little underrated. He could very well be a 97, 98 overall player in my eyes. And what's even weirder is Madden's statistics as far as, ratings for pass rush moves, power moves, bull rush, all that stuff. Well, he's a 92 on the finesse move, if I'm not mistaken, even though that's the primary aspect of his game on how he gets all of those sacks, right? But he's got like a 96 power move. And according to Chandler Jones even, he doesn't even use power moves. So it's really strange how Madden quantifies some of these things. I think that Chandler Jones should absolutely be a little bit higher. One of the best pass rushers in the NFL right now should be a little bit higher on Madden's rating list. 95 overall is respectable, but it feels a little bit of an underration to my opinion, right? I feel like he's a little underrated overall. Chandler Jones, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Just talked about him in my prior video, and 95, a little low. Maybe 97, 98 feels a little bit more comfortable to me. Another player I wanted to talk about is Ezekiel Elliott's rating, in my opinion, just a tad bit too low as well. Sitting around the 92, 93 overall range right now behind Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. Well, if you watched my top 5 running backs video, I think that Ezekiel Elliott is the second best running back in the NFL. All due respect to Derrick Henry, not taking anything away from the guy. He should absolutely be a 93 overall, one of the best running backs in the NFL. But Ezekiel Elliott's versatility, in my opinion, is what makes him the second best running back in the league. His ability to power through opposing linebackers, safeties, even through defensive lines, and get open in the backfield and make some plays in the passing game is, in my opinion, a very valuable asset that he brings to the table that should make him around a 95 overall, right? Not too overpowered, right? 95 overall, still pretty high, right? But 92, 93 overall for Ezekiel Elliott feels a tad bit low in my opinion. The dude, again, really versatile and is a really hard running back to stop in the open field. He can lower the shoulder on you. You gotta just keep feeding him the ball, and he picks up yardage. One of the NFC's top running backs, one of the NFL's top running backs, and in my opinion, the #2 running back in the NFL, deserves to be just a tad bit higher on the overall list for Madden this year. I just want to quickly touch on the rookie ratings as well. Overall, I think Madden actually does a pretty good, well-rounded job of quantifying rookie quarterback, running back, wide receiver, rookie overall numbers throughout the NFL. But what does confuse me a little bit is, what do they quantify and what are they taking into consideration when they're figuring out the ratings, right? Because you have some guys that are taken in the second round, for instance, J.K. Dobbins getting a 75 overall, getting a higher rating than a couple of the top 5 overall picks, top 10 overall picks, and his other counterparts taken in the first round, guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was one of the running backs taken in the first round of this past NFL draft, number 32 overall by the Chiefs, getting a little bit of a lower rating than J.K. Dobbins, who was taken just a round later from Ohio State by the Baltimore Ravens, right, in round 2. And then you have guys like Tua Tagovailoa, top 5 overall pick, with a lower rating than both of those guys. So I'm really curious as to what Madden quantifies as an appropriate rookie rating number. I know Joe Burrow's up there with one of the best rookies, #1 overall pick, high rookie rating, of course, right? It would make sense. Sure, Chase Young also has a really high overall rating, #2 overall pick out of Ohio State. But I'm really curious as to what matters more to Madden. I guess it just comes down to overall play. But in my opinion, I feel like a guy like Tua Tagovailoa probably plays a little bit better than potentially J.K. Dobbins. And that's no disrespect to him. I'm sure he's going to do very, very well in Baltimore. But I'm just really curious as to what quantifies the rookie overall ratings and what goes into it. Does it have to do with the draft, round selection, ability, and how things just translate to the NFL, Madden algorithm, whatever? Just a little bit fuzzy on that. And some of my final notes on Madden, I think that franchise mode could use a little bit of an overhaul. There are just some features that they just haven't been able to do a great job of keeping up with. Things like salary cap installation, where the salary cap raises itself a little bit. When you're playing with the salary cap on, trying to be as realistic as possible, the salary cap doesn't raise in Madden as far as I've seen. And those are really important aspects of being a manager in the game, trying to improve your team. A little bit of salary cap bump year to year that we've been seeing in real life doesn't seem to really be translating to Madden. A couple of other things, I think that just overall, what you're seeing with games like NBA 2K, a little bit more realistic, you influence trade packages. In Madden, the trade algorithm seems a little wonky. The deals you can make, the wheeling and dealing you can make is a little too unrealistic for my opinion. I feel like they just need to tweak the algorithm here and there. Overall, there have been a lot of cries and complaints from Madden fans that they need to overhaul the franchise mode. It's, in my opinion, the most popular mode of the game. They've been focusing a lot on the Madden Ultimate Team aspect, but if you want to keep players coming back to your game, I feel like if you can improve and create a better environment for franchise mode, you're going to get players to want to keep coming back more and more and more. Those are just a couple quick notes, nothing necessarily defined. From what I have seen as far as the next Madden, there hasn't been a lot of talk about anything with Madden franchise mode, which so far is a little disappointing. I want to see what they're going to do to make the gameplay experience a little bit better. Maybe go on the route of NBA 2K where, the single player initiative feels a little bit more fleshed out, a little bit better. If you have a story mode, bringing players from that story mode into the game. Most recently, they had your player playing in the Madden quarterback, whatever, face of the franchise. But Isaiah Streets texts you and talks to you and all that stuff, but doesn't actually feature in the game after that. Really weird. But thank you so much for watching the video. A little bit different from what I usually do, but Madden is still the NFL's official game, right? So it feels appropriate to talk about it on a football channel. Thank you so much for watching the video. All my social media is down in the description below. Feel free to stick around and watch some more content. Subscribe, get the bell to know every single time I'm dropping a video. Like, comment, share, all the good stuff. And I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Adios.